Now we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about Adobe Audition, right? So Adobe Audition is a digital audio workstation, sometimes called a DAW or a DAW, some people call it, right? Its strengths are as a computer-based multi-track recorder and audio mixer editor. I actually use several different DAWs. Audition's one of them. It's very good when doing like film, radio work, cleaning audio, things like that. For the level that we're working on, any DAW could work, but in this class we are using the Adobe tool, so you must use Adobe Audition. Its professional uses includes recording, mixing, editing, and mastering audios. Right, reference audio and video files. It can be destructive, meaning that it can change your audio clip for good, kind of like Photoshop can do with photos. So you got to be careful. All right, I'm not going to teach you how to change individual audio files um, because I don't want you guys to screw things up, but you can do that. Most of the time, this is needed for cleaning and stuff like that. Then it becomes a whole thing where you don't want to overwrite the original. You want to save it as a different copy generally. But I'm not going to teach you to do any of this. We're just scratching the surface here. So this is what it looks like. This is how it's set up, where we have imported media. We have a media browser here where we can get things like loops or sound effects or whatever we're looking for. Here is the timeline here, and here are the individual tracks. And then we have VU meters right here. This is a timing thing, which I generally leave off. But the main windows that we look at would be here, 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 and here. And sometimes here if we were scoring for video, which we will be doing as well. So the tracks are analogous with tracks in a recording studio. Maybe some of you have seen a board like this, right? This is equal to the tracks right here. Here's track 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we look at this, we don't see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we could call this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, I guess this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tracks, right? And these tracks are read straight up and down. And if you look at this, right, like all these knobs are repeated. So each track only has a few options to change. We have the pan faders, which is, or we have the volume faders, which has how much volume this is, right? Panning's probably right here, where it goes from left to right. So each track will represent one loop, which is most of the time just one instrument, just like it would be in a recording studio. Use multi-tracks to create a complete song is how we're going to deal, where we have to have multiple tracks. In fact, I think for the assignment we need like 3 to make a song, right? And have them all go together, even though you can definitely do much more. Yeah, because when it comes to a track, like let's say you're in a recording studio and you're a punk rock band, right? Let's say you have drums, guitar, bass, and vocals, right? Real simple setup, right? You're gonna have one track for vocals, you're gonna have one track for guitar, one track for bass, and then chances are you're gonna have a lot of tracks for the drums because the drums get mic'd in several different ways. But then you can loop that into a bus and just have it be one track. So ideally, that's kind of the point, is that you kind of want to get down to 4 mixing tracks where you can make it all happen. So you can change the volume and mix it that way. Okay, so that's how the individual tracks work. Here's the tracks in Audition, where we have 4 tracks here. And we have some basic options that we're going to use, where we have track name. There's the track name. We have the mute solo record, which is mute solo record up here. Right, muting means that track will not play. Solo means only that track will play in anything that's soloed. And then record means you're arming the track for recording. You got the gain, which is the overall volume, which is right here. You got the pan fader, which is right here, which will send the audio to left side or the right side to give a stereo effect, which I'll go over in the demonstration. We have input device, which right here, this is none, but this is how you set if indeed you're going to record with a microphone, right? Which microphone are you using? Give it a name, and there it is, right? And then we have the VU meters, which is how loud this individual track is, right? So these are what we're going to be looking at here. So I said we're going to primarily be using loops. So what are loops? They're kind of small samples of pre-recorded audio that are used to make original music. Most loops are WAV files. These loops that we're using are all copyright free, which means that if you put a bunch of loops together, arrange it and stuff, you can actually have your own copyright to it. That's what they're there for. They're there to really get something quick up on its feet. which is great. So that way you don't have to hire musicians or record your own things. So it's a faster way of getting original music, original content, is using loops. We're going to explore that a little bit in this class. So when you use loops to compose music, you don't have to have any musical talent or background at all, right? Which is good. So you don't have to be a musician here, so don't be afraid. Having a sense of rhythm helps. However, there's tools to have with the rhythm, and I'll show you exactly how to line stuff up to make sure that everything's on the same beat. It's something that you're going to have to do. So it can all be very mechanical how we do this. You do not have to be a musician. As I mentioned, the loops are copyright free, which means that you can copyright the songs that you create here, and lots of musicians do. And speaking of copyright, we go back to the idea of intellectual property or IP, right? Intellectual property are creative works like songs or books or whatever, where one has the right to and may apply for its own copyright. So in this class, once again, do not use any media with a copyright. Okay, please, please, please don't do that. We're creating our own sounds, or I'm giving you a package of stuff that doesn't have copyrights to it. Anything I give to you doesn't have a copyright. So you're good. Or if it does have a copyright, I have a license for it, which is important. Okay, so yeah, so don't scour the web for loops. Don't bring in your own loops. You know, just use course material for here or create your own. Okay, finally in review, stuff to think about here, which we went over, is what is digital media? What is a designer, right? Why is audio design important? And what is sound design? Hopefully you can answer all these questions. And this comes to the end of the lecture. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.